when I left campus in 1990, and Bo Schembechler retired, and my first year or two as an alum, while following the team after leaving campus, the person who got me understanding that I was going to love the team just as much as an alum as I would as a student on campus is kind enough to join us right now. Honestly, this is the guy who made me just keep loving football for the University of Michigan right away, and here I am now celebrating a national championship with him from ESPN College Game Day. Super Bowl MVP Desmond Howard also back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Des?
Rich, it's hard to put into words. I just landed. I had my twins with me out in Houston, and it's incredible, brother. It's just incredible, and it's incredible for beyond them winning a championship, because the journey to get to the championship was such an unconventional one. It was such a tumultuous journey, so to speak, and to see this group be as resilient and as steadfast and as focused on the mission as they were from week one to the championship game is just amazing to see. There's just so much I can say about this group. But Rich, I remember speaking to Mike Hart early in the season when this whole thing was swirling around about the NCAA wanting to suspend Harbaugh because of what amounted to the someone there at NCAA's feelings being hurt, and they wanted to bump up the whatever the infraction was from a level 2. They wanted to bump it up to a level 1 and suspend him for 4 games. And those kids, once the suspension was agreed upon as a 3-game suspension, they came out with the T-shirts that said "Free Harbaugh." And I asked Mike Hart, what's the temperature there? Like, what's the mood of the team? He said, these kids, they understand the mission, Desmond.
What do you think that meant?
That their whole mantra was, we want to get to the national championship and win it all this year. We know we have the team to do it. We got all the pieces in place, and we have the work ethic. We've put in the work during the off season. We got this bitter taste in our mouth from what happened in the TCU game in that semifinal. But we are vowed to never let that happen again. So we're going to get there, but this time we're going to win it all. And I think that was their mindset, their mentality. And even more so, Rich, what made this group special, and I've heard this from like Herb Street and from other people who has been around them because they've called Michigan games, just the unity of this group and the genuine love they actually have for one another. So, Rich, it's almost like a lethal combination when you have a group that have so much love for one another. They don't have any selfishness. It's just togetherness. And then on top of that, you have this added element of they feel like they're being, not only that they're being disrespected, but more so their coach is constantly being disrespected. And that just galvanizes that group. And and the product is what you've seen in the 2023 season and this 2024 national championship game that we just saw last night on January 8th.
Well, and before we get to the team, Desmond, I mean, you've mentioned multiple times about the suspensions and what the team was able to place aside and focus on the mission. And I'm sure people hear you talking, and I'm sure they've watched you on ESPN be the voice of Michigan nonstop amongst frequent stories and a lot of drip, and the sense is, again, is all of this adversity was self-created, Desmond. I mean, honestly, that's what I keep hearing. There was even a tweet that I had texted to me last night that Michigan in the second half would have to do what they did all season long, which was overcome self-inflicted wounds, and so how do you respond to that? What do you say to people saying all this adversity was all them creating it themselves? Des?
Well, I would say that I think that that's an exaggeration because the punishments were exaggerated. That's why. That's why I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
If you punish every program or every coach in college football the way that the NCAA chose to punish Coach Harbaugh at the beginning of the season, like I said, don't forget, let's go back. It's something that happened during COVID that they said amounted to maybe a level 2 infraction, which is like a slap on the wrist. But because they didn't like the way he cooperated or whatever happened there, they wanted to turn it from a misdemeanor now to a felony. Now, the deed didn't change. Whatever happened that deemed it a level 2 infraction didn't change. But since they felt as though that they have the authority because they didn't like what was said or however it transpired when they communicated with Coach Harbaugh, then they took it upon themselves to knock it up to a level 1 infraction and wanted to impose 4 games on him. So if they don't understand that, then I can't have conversation with them. The second part is the commissioner of the Big Ten. He chose to leapfrog the NCAA investigation and punish him from what I was told from all these reports that came out because Coach Harbaugh's opponents told him he should. The other teams, the head coaches from other teams, they say it was a big Zoom meeting, and the coach was like, what are you waiting for? Why haven't you punished Michigan? What's going on? And they made it seem like he caved to that type of pressure from a Zoom meeting with coaches and a separate Zoom meeting with athletic directors. But Rich, all he had to tell them was something to the effect of, if this was your program or something happens to you in your program in the future, do you want me to let the NCAA investigation play itself out and we have proper due process? Or would you want me to just bypass the NCAA investigation and punish you the way I deem fit because I want to punish you? You know what I mean? Do you want me to treat you under the same circumstances the way you're telling me you want me to treat Coach Harbaugh? So that's why when they say those things, you have to understand that the punishment did not fit what was going on at the time. 2 different entities chose to do things to an extreme level because they felt as though they could do it.
Desmond Howard, Heisman Trophy winner, ESPN College Game Day analyst, Super Bowl MVP. Amy Traskey's in the back. She wants me to say, former Raider, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. So we haven't really spoken about J.J. McCarthy a lot. I had Blake Corum on before. He's 27-1 in his Michigan career, Des. I mean, truly remarkable. And I understand wins as a quarterback stat is kind of potentially skewed, but the kid's a winner. And I'm wondering what you think his prospects are, Des. What do you think?
Well, Rich, I think that J.J. McCarthy is a special kid. I believe he's very talented, and you look at quarterbacks and you want to look at their statistics, and he's not going to have the statistics that will blow you away, especially compared to some of his peers, because it's just not Michigan's style of football. But like you said, Rich, he's a winner, and he's being groomed by a winner in Coach Harbaugh, a guy who knows how to coach the quarterback position. And to me, you want a guy who's going to be selfless, who wants to do whatever it takes to help the team win, even if it's sacrificing his own stats. He couldn't have been comfortable not throwing the ball a whole half against Penn State, even if he was a little banged up. I mean, you can just give him some easy throws. And but because of the circumstances of the situation, you know, he's the type of guy who's selfless. He wants to do what's in the best interest of the team, and he's very intentional. He's mature and extremely intentional on how he goes about his craft, which I think once GMs and pro personnel people start to dig into, you know, who he is as a person, I think it's going to impress them because there's a lot of substance there with J.J. McCarthy that I think is going to appeal to a lot of NFL teams.
All right, couple minutes left with you, Desmond Howard, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's just assume Jim is going to go chase that Lombardi Trophy, as we all expect, right? What do you think? Is it a Sharon Moore gig? What do you think? Is that who you think?
I think that he had the best audition. I've been doing this for almost 2 decades, Rich, and I can't think of a situation or a circumstance that was as difficult as the one that Sharon Moore found himself in when the plane landed in Happy Valley, and then they just got word that Coach Harbaugh was not going to coach in the biggest game of the year at that point, and that he was going to have to coach them. You know, that's a lot to take in less than 24 hours and know, okay, I got to coach this team. And he did an extraordinary job. And not only that, the next week against Maryland with a banged up J.J. McCarthy, he did another great job. And of course, here he is against Ohio State, coaching against one of the highest paid coaches in all of college football, and went out there and coached like he's a 10-year vet. Didn't coach scared. He coached to win, as opposed to some coaches coach not to lose, and outcoached Ryan Day in Ann Arbor that day.
All right, last one for you. We're going to play a little game here, Desmond. Guess who said this quote? You ready? Guess who said this quote? Quote, on offering congratulations to Michigan. I don't know if I've ever been more wrong about anything in my entire life. This is truly remarkable. I don't want to be wrong about something. You never want to be wrong. But if you're going to be epically wrong, I think Jim Harbaugh has silenced all those who doubted him. Some of us looked at him like he was old-fashioned, and we thought this wouldn't work in today's college football. But I forgot something. I forgot what a great coach he is, end quote. Who said that, Desmond Howard? Who said that? You want to guess?
Man.
It's somebody who you've spoken with on live television quite a bit lately. His name is Paul Finebaum.
Finebaum said that?
Yes. This is making the rounds.
I'm hoping I have to see the audio. I can't go by print. I got to see the audio.
This is what I've seen.
I got to hear the audio.
You've got to hear it.
See it.
This is what's making I shouldn't say something that's just seen on social media and then sent around by all my Michigan buddies. But this apparently is the case, Des.
No, Rich, I know if you brought it up, then it's good.
I don't know.
It's done.
I guess I shouldn't say that. But if this is true, right, you need to see it. Is what you say. You need to see it and hear it in order to believe it. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, listen, I'll tell you this. After the Alabama game,
yes,
he did start to go back a little bit on the comments that he made about Harbaugh because, I mean, it was impressive. I mean, he actually said, if I'm not mistaken, that he outcoached Nick Saban on the biggest stage, which was huge for Paul Finebaum to say that. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Paul. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's built himself a nice following with this big radio show in the SEC and that part of the country. But it's just that sometimes he seems to go so overboard when he talks about Michigan or when he talked about Harbaugh. It was like, personally, I just couldn't take him seriously because he never used that type of hyperbole with any other program or any other coach. But I have a lot of respect for Paul. I think he knows what he's doing. He knows how to get clicks. And he's been doing this for quite some time. And for him to say that, I think he's big enough that he can admit when he's been dead wrong. So, yeah, maybe he did say that because he did say that Harbaugh outcoached Nick Saban in the Rose Bowl.
Des, I do not take our friendship for granted. The fact that your plane gets delayed and you're flying and you're working, and it does sound like you were doing some cheering last night. And for you to get off the plane and immediately first thing you do when you get home is you put that skinny M hat on and you zoom into this show to chop it up with me, and I get a chance to chat with you on this special day. I do not take it for granted, Desmond.
No, man. Come on. You my guy, Rich. I love you, bro. Anytime you need me, I'm here for you. And it's always an honor to do your show.
Absolutely, Des. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
You got
it.
Go blue. The go blue to you. Desmond Howard, everybody. Right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.